That's scary that they ended up getting ahead of us in such an important technology. And now they're saying it's getting really bad. It said that they're losing the race on 37 out of 44 key areas. As America obsesses over ChatGPT, it's losing the race with China on tech in 37 out of 44 key areas. Study funded by the State Department. So this isn't coming from China's, Global Times or something. This is coming from our State Department. I have told you for 5 years, and especially since the chief, the chief software officer from the Pentagon. It was a position that was made for him because of his specialties. That title was made for him. He came in and he said that we were behind in AI and an autonomous technology, and we were so far behind that there was no catching up. And he left, and on his way out, he basically said, I don't want blood on my hands. We're behind, and there's really no way to catch up. That's scary that they ended up getting ahead of us in such an important technology. And now they're saying it's getting really bad. It said that they're losing the race on 37 out of 44 key areas. The cutting edge of technology in 2023 is artificial intelligence, with the sometimes creepy ChatGPT nearing an iPhone moment as a revolutionary tool that is being adopted at record speed. But it could just be a sideshow to the real story: China's emergence as the world's tech superpower. Like I said earlier, it's like, when you think of like Neuralink or something, there's the bureaucracy and the FDA and all of these things that he's got to go through to pass this thing and to get it going. Watch, we see the front line of China's soldiers all have it, and they all start working in chorison like drones together on the battlefield or something, because they don't have any tape to cut. Again, I hope that's not the case, but it says, but it could be just a sideshow from the real story: China's emergence as the world's tech superpower. Like, we shouldn't even be reading that sentence. From Baidu's Ernie bot to electric vehicle maker BYD, China has had an answer for almost every technological development taking the world. It says the U.S. has responded with trade restrictions that limit Beijing's access to critical materials for making chips used to power gadgets, and President Xi Jinping has in turn advocated for China to become self-reliant when it comes to technology. A think tank study partly funded by the U.S. State Department found that China's lead is sometimes stunning, and Western democracies are floundering. I mean, there's a really kind of a simple answer for why, though. I mean, of course, we don't want the Neuralink, thing in our heads or whatever, but that's a good example of why things get held back here, that they don't have any of that to go through. They can just do it. They have nobody to answer to. There's international groups that say it's wrong, but they just won't tell them. They've done it a million times. Dex, as far as this study, that's not a good thing to hear.
No, it's not. And I had to go find the actual study and find the chart. So if you want to see the list of the exact things that they are ahead of, and what's unfortunate is the things that we're ahead of, a couple of them are really important, like high performance computing and advanced integrated circuit fabrication and natural language processing, those being like supercomputers, the chat GPT stuff. And we're good with biofuels and nuclear energy, I'm sorry, no, we're not. We're good at quantum computing. That was the other tech one that was specific. And then the other one is the stuff that we did with all of our pharma companies with this last round of the event that went down. So we're that type of medical research, we're number one in, right? Small satellites, we're number one in, but there's so much that we're not. And that's what's crazy. And it's not that there's other competitors. It's clear that it's the US and China. That's it. They're the number one and number two in all of these categories. And they claim number one in many more than we do. And everyone else is way behind. Like, they don't even come close. So it's really, that should tell you a lot. A, we're behind, and B, look at how big they are, how advanced they are, and this should be a huge warning sign to our tech industry overall across all of these categories.
By the way, the energy and environment, how are we behind on all of this, right? When who knows? Maybe this is all Ganda or something put out by the State Department, right? That's not a good thing that this is even being said, even if it's not true. Quantum computing, USA is ahead, but post-quantum cryptography, quantum communications, i.e. quantum key distribution, quantum sensors, China, and we have low proficiency in all three of those. Synthetic biology, biological manufacturing. I wonder why they're ahead in that one, right? China. V's, the poke and prod, we're ahead in that. I'm sure everybody's happy to see that, number 37. And then, smart materials, coatings, nanoscale materials and manufacturing, advanced composite materials, novel metamaterials, high specification machining processes, advanced explosives, and energetic materials. You would think that if there is a really side versus side, and if there are people in the powers of the USA that want to keep us as number one, you would think that this would be enough to possibly go to war. They wouldn't tell us that, but you think take these guys down before they're running the world. Look at that. Dex, go ahead.
I just want to clarify the high, medium, and low is the monopoly risk. So if it's got a high, that means whoever has it that particular technology has a high risk of being monopolized by that one country because they own the entire tech space or they're so far advanced in it. The lows mean it's that they may be good at it and they may be the leader, but they don't necessarily, there's no chance that they could monopolize it. Anyone else could eventually build up their tech in that space.
So in synthetic biology and gene technology, they basically could monopolize it and turn it into their own. Supercapacitors, electric batteries. Okay, this is one of the most important parts on here. And we'll share this on our website so you can see this. Number 25 in energy and environment, electric batteries. Look who is pushing us into this world where we're going to depend completely on electric batteries. Look at who is, and they say that high probability they will have a monopoly on. Look at very important, like out of all of these, it's like there's a couple that are so important that they could help run the world, whoever controls them. Look at antibiotics. 97% of the APIs, the active pharmaceutical ingredients for the antibiotics are made in Xi's country. And then, of course, it's like 90% of all antibiotics, not the finished ones made and everything, are coming from China. How did this happen? How are we depending on them for such important, vital things? They're not supposed to be the world leader in any of this. And I guess you could, well, why not? I don't know, because they're a communist nation. And do you want to live under China's rule? Do you want to be? I mean, honestly, if you look at what's happening here, it's just happening more subtle and secretly. Us being tracked, traced, videotaped everywhere we go, financially watched, all this kind of stuff is happening here. But that's been happening there, and it's the worst you could ever imagine. I mean, they get a phone call from the government saying, "How do you rate your government? If you put anything other than 100%, you're going to be marked." They have a social credit score. Again, like if you leave your bike on the wrong part of the sidewalk, or if you jaywalk, or if you even say F you to a police officer there, your social credit score goes down. And if your social credit score goes down too far, then you can't travel. You can't take public buses, you can't take trains, you can't take planes. You can't leave ever. So this is where things are headed if they end up taking over the world. And frankly, a lot of people think this is where it's headed anyways, because the people at the very top that are having dinners together, oligarchs that are having dinners at Mr. Gates' house, they're all in on this. They're going to have a seat at the table, and they're not going to have restrictions for anybody in their family. They'll probably have a little bracelet that says, "Oh, well, I'm family of this person, so I don't have to listen to the rules." If you think above the law doesn't exist, it does. And watch, in the future, it will really exist, where there will be a caste system, and it will be based on your social credit score. But some people won't be affected by it. If you don't already, make sure to go over and check out an EMP shield. You can actually protect yourself against all 3 phases of an EMP, and you can protect yourself against a Carrington level event. An EMP is if we get struck with an electromagnetic pulse by an enemy or ourselves or whoever would do it, and it could affect and even knock down our grid, which could take anywhere from 12 to 18 months to fix. It would basically screw us up and put us back to the Stone Age. That EMP is, that's one thing that is a possibility, but it's not a probability. On the other hand, a solar flare, a Carrington level event hitting Earth will happen. And that's something you can prepare for. You can protect your cars, your trucks, of course, your motorcycles, your boats, and anything else you want to keep running, including gas-powered generators, and even the Flex 1500 can be protected by an EMP shield. If you go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP, you can get one for $50 off, and you can help support our channel at the same time. Thank you guys for popping over there, and again, that helps us out, and it, of course, can possibly save your life at some point. They have a home version you can wire directly into your home, and that version has to be put in by an electrician, but once you do, it will protect everything within 250 linear feet that is plugged into the wall. So that takes care of a lot of the little stuff, so you don't have to basically live with your electronics in a Faraday cage. Otherwise, the actual company itself, they have put out different videos and things on how to make Faraday cages to protect yourself if you can't afford their stuff. But again, their solution is a permanent one, and it's a really, really awesome technology. That's why agencies like DHS, DOD, and the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid are using them.
Feed the haters to the alligators. Your way or the highway, see you later. DOD is the homie and Mr. Vader. If it wasn't for you, I would never made it. Whole city's covered by the cremated. Now they listen to what we were saying. Doesn't matter if the manufacturer or created. But now